lecture is entitled Introduction to the History of Psychology. We will cover a few things that we will dive deeper into in my later lectures. Psychology as a science discipline emerged in the late 19th century with the establishment of the first psychology laboratory by Wilhelm Wundt in Germany back in 1879. However, the exploration of the human mind and behavior has its roots stretching back to ancient civilizations. Let's talk about some early influences. In ancient Greece, philosophers like Plato and Aristotle explored the nature of the mind and its relationship to the body. Rest assured, I will go deeper into Plato versus Aristotle in my next lecture. Other ancient civilizations, such as ancient Egypt, Persia, India, and China, also contributed to early psychological thought through philosophical and religious texts. Let's transition to scientific psychology. The 19th century saw a shift towards scientific approaches to understand the mind. Wilhelm Wundt is widely regarded as the founder of psychology as a separate scientific discipline. Now, as stated, before the time of Wundt and James, questions about the mind were considered by philosophers. However, both Wundt and James helped create psychology as a distinct scientific discipline. Now, this is just a brief summary review of some important historical information. I will go more in depth in my upcoming lectures. Wilhelm Wundt, let's start with him, was a structuralist. This means that he believed that our cognitive experience was best understood by breaking that experience into its component parts. He thought this was best accomplished by introspection. And again, I will define terms in the lecture focusing on Wilhelm Wundt. Not William Wundt, but Wilhelm Wundt. Next, William James. William James was the first American psychologist, and he was a proponent of functionalism. This particular perspective focused on how mental activities served as adaptive responses to an organism's environment. Like Wundt, William James also revealed on introspection. However, his research approach also incorporated more objective measures as well. Next, Sigmund Freud. Sigmund Freud believed that understanding the unconscious mind was absolutely critical to understanding conscious behavior. This was especially true for individuals that he saw who suffered from various hysterias and neuroses. Freud relied on dream analysis, slips of the tongue, and free association as means to access the unconscious. Psychoanalytical theory remained a dominant force in clinical psychology for several decades. Moving on to Gestalt psychology. Gestalt psychology was very influential in Europe. Gestalt psychology takes a holistic view of an individual and their experiences. As the Nazis came to power in Germany, Wertheimer and other scientists immigrated to the United States. Although they left their laboratories and their research behind, they did introduce America to Gestalt ideas. Some of the principles of Gestalt psychology are still very influential in the study of sensation and perception. One of the most influential schools of thought within psychology's history was behaviorism. Behaviorism focused on making psychology an objective science by studying overt behavior and de-emphasizing the importance of unobservable mental processes. John Watson is often considered the father of behaviorism, and B.F. Skinner's contributions to our understanding of principles of operant conditioning cannot be underestimated. Now, as behaviorism and psychoanalytic theory took hold of so many aspects of psychology, some began to become dissatisfied with psychology's picture of human nature. Thus, a humanistic movement within psychology began to take hold. Humanism focuses on the potential of all people for good. Both Maslow and Rogers were influential in shaping humanistic psychology. During the 1950s, the landscape of psychology began to change. A science of behavior began to shift back to its roots of focus on mental processes. The emergence of neuroscience and computer science aided this transition. Ultimately, the cognitive revolution took hold, and people came to realize that cognition was crucial to a true appreciation and understanding of behavior. So, in the mid-20th century, cognitive psychology emerged, focusing on mental processes such as thinking, memory, and problem solving. And again, I will dive deeper into all of these theories in my future lectures. Next, we have modern psychology. Today, psychology encompasses a wide range of approaches and specializations, including clinical, developmental, social, cognitive, and neuropsychology. Now, psychology continues to be a dynamic field driven by ongoing research and the development of new theories and techniques. In my next lecture, we will visit early influences in the history of psychology, Plato versus Aristotle. I'm excited about that one. See you soon.